What's up, guys? Road Warrior 627 here, and here it comes, people. This is it. This is what is going to determine basically all the fucking Eclipse Awards that there are this entire year. Welcome to my preview of the Breeders' Cup World Championships being held for the 9th and stupidest time at Santa Anita. Can we please get this fucking thing back to Belmont? Thank you very much. Okay, keep running it out in crappy California. They had to install a fucking new turf course just to get it there and actually give everybody a chance. Okay, let's jump right into it. I said in my Twitter post I would not be going over every race. In the races I really don't care about, I'm just going to mention why I like the horse I picked on top. Those include some of the races that I do not think should be championship races, including 2 races on Friday. We're going to start out with the 6th race at Santa Anita, which is the first Breeders' Cup race this year, and it's called the Juvenile Turf. They're all grade 1s, by the way, just to let you know. I got a mile on the turf right here. I decided I'm going to pick Oscar Performance because all his races pretty much have been Oscar Performance worthy. He's been very good. I love Jose Ortiz. I love Brian Lynch. This is bad when you write your picks on a different paper than the daily racing form. Second in this race, I picked Favorable Outcome. I read Ortiz and Chad Brown. I think what will be an Ortiz Brother Exacta to start out the Breeders' Cup. Alright, so let's turn our attention to an actual race that actually is worthy of championship status, and that is the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. I am not saying sponsorships because I think they are stupid, so let's get right into the Dirt Mile, the 7th race. Actually, you know what, before we get there, let's just remind you guys that post time for the beginning of the card is 2:25 Eastern Time, and the post time for the start of Breeders' Cup races is 5:25, so exactly 3 hours later. That starts the 6th race that we just talked about. Now, the Dirt Mile is a hell of a race. It's got some great players in here, and I think this is actually one of the very few races that I actually did pick the favorite. I did pick Dortmund in this race, and the reason I picked Dortmund in this race is because he's fucking been running against the best horse in the country. Okay? I used to say Frosted was the best horse in the country, but that's not true, obviously, unless he somehow wins the Classic. We'll get to that later. I put Gunrunner under him because he's been a very honest 3-year-old. He just got beat by Connect in the Pennsylvania Derby. I actually had the exact in that race. Not that that means anything now. Run Happy behind him. Breeders' Cup Sprint winner from last year, who was ultra impressive. Hasn't been as obviously spectacular this year. Hasn't been raced as much for a new trainer. And then Tom's Ready to round it out, who a lot of people like, is a big upset in here. Rosario and Dallas Stewart. This would not be the first time that Dallas Stewart has pulled off an upset, so we'll have him to close out the Super. The 8th race, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. This is the race of all the Breeders' Cup races that is not worthy of having championship status. I do not agree. I don't get it. So I'll just quickly run through this. I'll go give you my top 2 choices. I'm going for the long shot Rimska, Chad Brown, Ira Ortiz. Big value, Chad Brown, Turf. Enough said. Who do I have behind that? I've got the 14 La Coronelle Florent Giroux from Mark Cassie. One of the more renowned horses in this race. Not that much turf pedigree, but definitely has been running well this year. So now, let's get to the big race on Friday. It's definitely one of my favorite races throughout this entire Breeders' Cup, and of course that is the Distaff. Chalk in this race, not for me. I'm picking Forever Unbridled, who impressively won the Beldame. I was there at Belmont Park in person that day. Rosario for Dallas Stewart. I have no idea why she's 12-1. She should actually be 20-1 in this race because of some of the other 2 that are in here, but I think she's definitely got a chance, and I just hate picking the favorite. Behind that, of course, is the Super Philly Songbird, Mike Smith. Jerry Hollendorfer is 11 for 11. Has never lost, and she definitely does have an advantage, I believe, from that inside post, because if she gets caught in a speed duel, I believe she can keep going, but she has not faced the likes of Beholder yet, but I'm picking her behind Songbird just because I think Songbird is, well, I mean, they're both on their home track, but come on, Songbird, Songbird. And then rounding out the superfecta, of course, is Stellar Wind. Well, a lot of people are picking to finish second in this race, either behind Beholder or Songbird. Stellar Wind, Espinoza, John Sadler definitely can win the race, but I mean, considering what she's going up against, I just don't think so. 5-2, not that much value anyway. Not like the other two. The horses I picked second and third are going to be any good either. So let's say you go to sleep, you had a bad day. Let's try and alleviate the pain by helping you guys win on Saturday, the biggest day. And here we're going to start it off actually with the first Breeders' Cup race. His little trivia that was ever run, and that was the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies. And that is the fourth race. The card itself, I believe, starts at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Time. That is in fact correct. And the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies, which starts the Saturday Breeders' Cup action, starts at 3:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mile and a 16th, 2-year-olds, you know the deal, especially if you're a horse racing fan. Okay. Remember the old Beatles song, Get Back? It's a great song. Sweet Loretta. 6-1. Castellano, Todd Pletcher. Sounds good to me. Yellow Agate, Manny Franco. Looking for his first Breeders' Cup win. He screwed my father out of a trifecta, but I'm going to take him with Christophe Clement. Coming in second, American Gal, who a lot of people don't seem to like, even though she's 6-1. I got her coming behind Mike Smith and Bob Baffert. You can't really go wrong with those two together. And then behind that is the 7 Jameson and Ginger. A lot of buzz around this horse for one of the most snaky trainers of all time, Rudy Rodriguez. Cannot tell you how many times I've bet and cashed in on him with first-time starters. He is a sneaky one. Let's move on to race 5, the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Okay, guys, I never do this except for the last time that I did it. I am picking Lady Eli. I don't care if I lose my money and she loses. Just the fact she's running here is gonna make me cry. Okay, she is a hell of a freaking horse, and she's only lost once on that one comeback race off the long layoff where she almost got put 6 feet under, and she is back, and she won the Flower Bowl. C. Calif ran well last time for Roland Giroux. Chad Brown, I see this being a nice turf. Chad Brown exacta. How many of those have we seen? A lot. Seventh Heaven from across the ocean. Aidan O'Brien, Ryan Moore is riding 3-1 on the morning line. In fact, is she the favorite? She's not the favorite. Lady Eli is the favorite by a half a point, 5-2 to 3-1. And then rounding out the field, Catch a Glimpse, who's been ultra good this year, won that Belmont Oaks earlier in the year, and she is a good horse too. However, I think she might be just a little bit distance challenged, as she just held on in that race. The Breeders' Cup Sprint, one of the best races we have all year. The classic distance of 6 furlongs for sprinters. I like Dre Fong from Martin Garcia and Bob Baffert. I know Martin Garcia is sometimes a terrible rider. I understand that. But a lot of times in the spotlight, he's pretty good. And I think he's just the best. He won our King's Bishop up at Saratoga earlier this year, and he was ultra impressive. Behind that is a P Indian. I do love this horse. I picked him off the cuff in the Belmont Sprint Championship, and he won for me at either 6-1 or 9-1. I don't remember exactly. He's 4-1 in this race. Behind that, I've got Limousine Liberal, who was very close to winning at Saratoga. Jose Ortiz for Colebrook. And then behind that is the Chalk Masochistic. I think he's good. I just don't think he will win. We go from the dirt sprint to the turf sprint. Race number 7. I am picking a lot. I don't think I'm going to win by a lot, but I am picking a lot. I mean, I'm picking a lot of Chad Brown horses, but I mean, why not? Why not pick a lot of Chad Brown horses? A lot, 8-1, good chance. Who do I have behind that? I got, of course, Pure Sensation, who has been simply sensational throughout the year. Behind that is the 14, Celestine. Celestine is who got me over the hump on Belmont Stakes Day and made me a winner on Belmont Stakes Day. In fact, Celestine put me about $40 in the black, so I will take that. And also, we've got, obviously, rounding out the Superfecta, Flavian Pratt, nice rider out on the West Coast. The Juvenile. Play the Game of Thrones music right now. Syndergaard. Noah Syndergaard. I hope that doesn't mean no Syndergaard. I am betting Syndergaard in this race, mainly because I love him. I love Noah Syndergaard of the Mets, and I also love Syndergaard the horse. His champagne was one of the best champagnes I've ever seen of him. I'll admit he got a nice, easy opening quarter, but then they fucking sped it up so much down the backstretch and around the far turn. I know he probably would have been disqualified, but he still ran much a winning race. Practical Joke did not run too shabby either, breaking way in at the start and going into the little gap there where the clubhouse turn joins with the backstretch at Belmont after the 1 mile shoot, where they broke in that race. So Syndergaard is going to be on top in this race just because I love him. Pletcher and 2-year-olds, you can't get much better than that. Behind that, I've got a Theory, and his name is Theory. Castellano for Pletcher. Can Pletcher's 2 biggest boys steal the top 2 spots? I think so. He was very good in the Futurity last time out. Also, I forgot to mention this about Syndergaard. That was only a fifth of a second off of Seattle Slew's record for the fastest mile ever run by a 2-year-old. Remember that. I think Uncle Mo actually might have broken that. I'm not sure. I don't remember exactly for sure. But 134 and 3 after going 108 and whatever, he went on a track that was not really that fast. Number 1 Clint is my third choice. Rafael Bejarano, Bobby Baffert, you get that. And Classic Empire, ultra good horse, out of Pioneer of the Nile, Julian Leperoux, and one of his favorite guys, Mark Cassie, the trainer, rounding out the Superfecta. The Breeders' Cup Turf. If you're gonna single anywhere on these 2 days, I would single Dortmund, and I would single you know who. Flincher. He is one hell of a horse, Flincher. He lost last time. I get it. I was there. I saw it happen. It did not look like, and I can tell you just from seeing it through the binoculars, he was not handling the ground that well, and he's supposed to win this race. no doubt. I'm surprised he's 5-2. He should be even money in this race, I think. And even if he doesn't win, he still deserves to be even money because his resume this year is completely unbelievable. He won the Manhattan in 158 over a turf course that was fast, but it wasn't supersonic, and he just won it in the most easiest of fashion. And it was the same turf course that Celestine ran on, and both of those horses did not get touched with the whip during their races. That's why I'm so high on them. Also, he won the Bowling Green, the prep for the Sword Dancer, in an absolute canter after being trapped behind two horses. What does Castellano do? He takes him back, moves him to the outside. The rest is history. The Sword Dancer comes. Okay, I realize he got a good trip. He was boxed in, and finally this time the hole opened up for him. But, I mean, do you think that he would have lost if he had to weave his way through traffic or come outside? There's no way he would have lost. It just seems very odd to me that he lost last time, and that it could have actually been because of something else other than the track. He's been too consistent. He's been too consistently good for that to have happened. Behind the flincher in this race, I have an absolute bomb in Twilight Eclipse, who I believe finished right behind. Yes, he did. He finished right behind Flincher in the Joe Hurst Turf Classic. This 7-year-old, 8-year-old, whatever he is, I think he's 7, has had a long, very successful career. I love this horse. He's 30-1. I'm throwing him in there mainly just because I love him. Found the filly from across the ocean. Was also entered in the Breeders' Cup Classic, but opted to run here. Good idea. Okay, she has a much better chance of getting the money in here. And Ecto, the horse who beat Flincher. Why has Todd Pletcher been winning so much on the turf lately? I don't know. I'm not going to question it. Let's get on to the 10th race. The Breeders' Cup Filly and Mayor Sprint. 7 furlongs, $1 million. Have You Gone Away is my top choice. Johnny Velasquez, Tom Morley, Maggie Wolfendale's wife, Maggie Wolfendale's husband, oh man, is a hell of a horse. She's had some fortunate things. She's had some things go her way. I'm going to put Tara's Tango down behind her. Jerry Hollendorfer, Rafael Bejarano. Nice West Coast matchup right there with two of those. Karina Mia, who tried to stick it to Songbird in the CCA Oaks earlier this year. She should not have tried. She should have stuck to one turn miles, 7 furlongs. And that's exactly what she's doing. Bill Mott, hell of a trainer. You know all about him. And By the Moon to round it out, who also won earlier this year right in front of my eyes in the Bed of Roses. By the Moon's a nice horse, but she's going to have to have some things go her way with the front end. Let's go to the 11th race, the Breeders' Cup Mile, also known as the Breeders' Cup Turf Mile. Mile on the turf. And here we go. Wouldn't it be ironic if Ironicus won this race? Don't you think Shug McGahee deserves to win this race? I think he does. I'm picking Ironicus mainly just because I really freaking love this horse. I feel like I'm making that argument for a lot of horses today, but he is damn good. Behind him, I got Taurus for Bill Mott and Rosario. He's a nice horse. Behind him, we got Tepin. Tepin actually lost. Can you believe she lost? I can believe she lost. And who fucking sprang the upset on her? Todd Pletcher, winning on the turf with a freaking, what was it, a 34-1 bomb, paid $68, $70. I don't remember exactly what it was. But Kent DeSormo wired the field on a horse that is also in this race, and that horse is named photo call. That's right. Okay. And then behind him, I shouldn't say behind him, I should say behind Tepin, the all-star Tepin, we've got number 10, Limato, from across the ocean, always dangerous European. And ladies and gentlemen, you have waited for this. You have put up with this stupid handicapping to get to this point. The race that probably only, 99% of you care about the most, the Breeders' Cup Classic. California Chrome versus Arrogate. What a matchup. These two horses are the 1-2 favorites for completely different reasons. California Chrome has been the picture of consistency this year. He's been running fast early, and he's been running fast late, and he's the best horse in the world. He'll be horse of the year if he doesn't win this race. He'll be horse of the year if he finishes last. That's how good he is. But this is not the race for horse of the year. That's already over. This is the race to win $6 million. Or the biggest share of $6 million, I should say. And Arrogate ran the fastest, most impressive Travers in history, and has had the second highest buyer number this year, only behind Frosted, who's also in this race, his Met Mile. The Travers got a 122 buyer for Arrogate, and Met Mile for Frosted got a 123. Now, speaking of Frosted, what a horse. I mean, I realize that Frosted lost. I completely get it. Look at the fucking trip he had. He was 8 wide. And that's been proven. He traveled 60 plus more feet than the winner. And he didn't even get shaken up. Apparently he doesn't like the whip. And he ran fine with the whip last year. Apparently he doesn't like it. But he didn't even get shaken with the reins until just before the 16th pole in the Woodward. And this is a horse, don't forget, that won the Met Mile once again with a 123 buyer by 14 1/4 lengths, and won the Whitney, in the words of Larry Colmus, in a walk in the park. I mean, he's just been sensational. I realize he lost to California Chrome earlier this year. I don't know if Dubai was an excuse, but Frosted's one hell of a horse. And if these two, Arrogate and California Chrome, get into a speed duel, it might just come right back in Frosted's face. So obviously, that means my pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic is the horse who beat Frosted last time, Shaman Ghost. Okay, you're shitting your pants right now, everybody, right? Am I assuming that? I am assuming that. Well, I'm picking Shaman Ghost because he's fucking 20 to 1. He's probably going to wind up being like 37, 38 to 1 in this race. Jimmy Jerkins. Just think of that name. Prove Out, Onion. Need we say more? Shaman Ghost, Irad Ortiz, Jimmy Jerkins is my pick for the Breeders' Cup Classic. I sound like a total dipwad. So just for that, in that case, I'm going to leave on the right the actual projected order of finish, of course, which is California Chrome, Arrogate, Frosted, and Keen Ice. That's my projected order of finish. But Shaman Ghost has absolutely showed that the distance will not be a problem. He won the Brooklyn earlier this year. He won the Woodward. I know Frosted definitely should have won that race. He was tons the best, and fucking Rosario did some really stupid things in that race. But, I mean, come on. Why not take a shot with Jerkins? I realize most of you are probably saying, why didn't you bring up Melatonin or Opportunity? I don't care. Opportunity ran very well in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. And the Jockey Club Gold Cup is one of my favorite races of the year. It's probably my third favorite race of the year behind the Belmont and the Travers. and maybe the Manhattan, because I love that race on the turf. But I mean, he's just nowhere near as good as California Chrome, and I just don't see it. I mean, I love Velasquez. He's my favorite jockey, Velasquez. Bob Baffert's a great trainer. We all know that. But, you know, some people might say, oh, you're overlooking opportunity because he's got Arrowgate, you know, in the stall right next to him. Jimmy Jerkins has 2 horses, too, and his other horse's name is FNX, who finished second in the Breeders' Cup Classic last year. Now, the reason I didn't pick FNX and I didn't even believe him in my top 4 is because I just don't think he's fast enough to win the race. So what does that leave me with? It leaves me with Shaman Ghost, California Chrome, getting caught. He's in front of Arrowgate at the finish already. And then Frosted picking up pieces behind that. That is my handicapping preview for the Breeders' Cup World Championships. I hope you guys make tons of money. I hope you enjoy yourselves. I hope this is the greatest Breeders' Cup you've ever had. And if you enjoyed this video and you learned something, or you like my opinions, leave a like, please. It would be very much appreciated. And also, type down below in the comments if you would like to see the Breeders' Cup come back to Belmont. I'm just saying, because it should. Okay, enough said from this crony New Yorker, Road Warrior 627, signing off here. I hope you guys have a fantastic and lucrative Breeders' Cup weekend. Peace!